After much anticipation, the Nintendo Switch 2 is finally coming, which is fantastic news for Nintendo fans. But what does that mean for Resident Evil fans? What is up, guys? Andy here from Biohazard Declassified, and let's talk about that all-important RE engine coming to the Switch 2.
Biohazard.
So, of course, the announcement for the Switch did come via Nintendo. An announcement trailer that like a 3D render that was flying around and showing the new clip-on feature rather than the slide, the new kickstand, the USB 3 features that are now on it. Very, very cool. Didn't really show a lot of like games or anything like that, but I'm sure that will come at a later date. And actually it is coming at a later date because they will have a Nintendo Switch Direct in April. I think it's like April 2nd or something. So we'll know a lot more about that at the time. However, what I really want to zero in on is this article comes from Polygon, Michael McWhirter, thank you very much for that. And this just goes on about some potential leaked information about the CPU, GPU, that sort of thing. So that according to a leak, and I think Digital Foundry spoke about this too, that it's going to be powered by an NVIDIA custom Tegra 239 processor, which would put it on par with consoles like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which is very, very interesting. We can discuss at a later time if we think that's fit for purpose. Do we think a console coming out in 2025 should be on the same power as the PlayStation 4? I'll leave that up for you guys to talk about in the comments, but the main scope of this video is to discuss how does this affect Resident Evil. So, as we know, Resident Evil had quite a few launches on PlayStation 4, actually, from the Revelations series. Obviously, they backported all of Resident Evil 4, 5, 6. You had the RE Engine Resident Evils with 7, 2, 3 Remake, Village, and Resident Evil 4. I thought I'd forget one then, but I didn't. Yeah, so obviously a lot of Resident Evil games did come out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But what we haven't seen on Nintendo to date is a native release of the RE Engine Resident Evils. Now, what do I mean by native release? Because Resident Evil is on the Switch. The RE Engine games are on the Switch, but the only way you can play them is via cloud gaming, which effectively is the game is streamed to the device. So you got to have a very strong internet connection, and then you're basically it's no different to like Netflix streaming. It's no different to Xbox Game Pass, no different to PS Plus cloud streaming. It's that sort of thing. So it's not actually natively on the device, which obviously was very beneficial for the Switch because it was very, very underpowered for games like that. And I feel like now is the perfect time to open that back up and say, do you know what? Capcom, let's do a deal. Let's bring all of the RE Engine Resident Evils to the Switch natively. You can play them offline. You don't have to be tethered to the cloud, so to speak. You can play it on an airplane, which I think is one of the big selling points of the Switch, was playing it on an airplane. Certainly playing the Switch back in 2017 on my way to New York was absolutely fantastic. I'm just really shocked that they didn't do that for the Switch originally, because the RE Engine is on the Switch. I think one of the Monster Hunter games runs on the RE Engine. So why they chose to, obviously the big reason why they didn't choose was the performance, but why couldn't they just, like, the RE Engine is very, very versatile. Like, I've played it on extremely low end devices. Actually, it's on the iPhone. It's on the iPad. So if they're going to get a similar processor to that, I'm not saying they're going to get an M1 or an M2 or anything like that, but why couldn't we have that before? But that issue is, there's no reason to even retread that ground, because now we have an opportunity where we can correct that wrong, because I don't understand why the Switch never had it. So I think, yes, definitely when this Switch comes out, the Switch 2 comes out, let's get the RE Engine on it. There's no reason why it can't be on there. I think Capcom already have learned the lessons of the RE Engine. You know, the RE Engine came out in 2017 and it's still going strong. I know they used the framework engine for many, many years, but the RE Engine is hitting strides and running on all types of hardware now. So guys, I think it's time. I think it's time that they finally make the jump on the Switch. And on top of that, that's a little bit it's always been a little bit of Nintendo kind of holding back the audience, really, because Resident Evil and Nintendo have always gone hand in hand in some way throughout the generations. Like, we've had Resident Evil 2 on the N64. We've had all of the original Resident Evils come to the GameCube, and actually Resident Evil 4 originally being exclusive to the GameCube. So they've always had a very tight working relationship. So I'm hoping they can lean on older pastures to bring across these fantastic remakes. And certainly moving forward, I think it would be ideal. And again, me specifically, I know this is a very nuanced answer. I'm not necessarily like a huge Nintendo fan. Obviously, I've played Mario historically, played Mario Kart historically, but I'm not like, oh man, I'm waiting for the next Mario release. I'm not doing that. There are people in the world that do, obviously, but that's just not me. So, I take it I wouldn't be the only one saying that. So this could be moving forward, not necessarily just backporting the library, but moving forward, it would be nice to have, and I said this about the Apple iPhone versions too, to have a parity release on the next Resident Evil. When Resident Evil 9 comes out, or Resident Evil 0, Code Veronica remake, whatever they plan to do next, the version that they're porting needs to port at exactly the same time as the PS5 and Series X versions, and PC versions, because that lag in getting the game out just causes a loss of sales. And a lot of people picked up the Switch. I mean, the Switch is like the second, if I'm not right in saying, it's like the second behind the Wii in most consoles sold or something like that. Stupidly popular. Imagine if a bigger fraction of that install base played the RE Engine Resident Evils. Yes, I'm very grateful they ported Resident Evil 4, 5, 6. I think the Revelations games as well, and the remake and 0, I think they ported too. Very grateful that they're on there, but you know, some people want the new Resident Evil games. They want to experience the RE Engine unfettered, untethered on the go. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to do it. Let's get those dev kits out to Capcom and get them making certainly backporting the previous Resident Evils, but let's get a new Resident Evil release on parity, on mobile devices, on Nintendo, and on the rest of them. But that's just what I'm saying, guys. I'd really love to know all of your guys' thoughts in the chat. Is it time that Nintendo move away from easy fixes like cloud gaming and make a native Resident Evil RE Engine port on the Switch? Certainly the Switch too. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in as always, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one. Have a good one. We'll see you very soon.